Okay, we just finished the inspection at 804 Delfino Drive in Ocoee, 34761. These are the highlights of the inspection, and then you can rely on the inspection report, which you'll receive later this evening, for the rest of the information. You want to use this video in conjunction with that report to get a better understanding of the condition of the property. We're going to start with the overall construction. First floor is concrete masonry. Second floor is wood frame. Stucco is the wall covering on the outside. At this point in time, you have a lot of minor cracks in the stucco. They're particularly by windows and corners. They're not easily seen from standing 10 feet from the wall, but as you get closer, you will see them. The cracks themselves are not very significant. They're superficial, but the problem with the cracks are that they are open cracks, and during wind-driven rains in certain conditions, it will allow for some moisture to enter the wall. In the concrete block masonry walls, it's not that big of a deal, but you can see some water stains on the inside walls over time if that should occur. It's a little more important to keep that moisture away at the second story where you have wood framing. And the reason that I mention this is because historically what happens is with water, it can damage wood over time, and you'll have to enter into a major repair problem down the road. You're not at that point now, not even close to it, but the cracks are an indication that it's time to paint the exterior, seal the cracks to better protect the building. So we're going to make that recommendation to you. Another recommendation that we're going to make to you is to install gutters at the roof. One of the reasons that this is important is keeping water away from the foundation is paramount in preserving the structure. So we want to control the water that falls off the roof. We don't want it landing by the foundation. We would recommend that you have gutters and downspouts installed. Those downspouts can divert the water away from foundation areas, and thus over time you'll be able to maintain the status of the property much better. In other words, you won't have to worry so much about structural problems. You'll be doing what's within your control to make sure that those problems don't occur. I went up on the second story roof. I went up on the roof in the first story of the porch and on the side of the house. The roof shingles are in good condition. I expected that because the house is still relatively new. I had one damaged shingle on the east side, second story, northeast corner. You'll see a photograph of it in the report. You'll see it's pretty minor, but it's important to fix only because if you leave it the way it is, it could deteriorate a little bit more, and we don't want that. I entered the attic space, and I don't think the roof has ever leaked, and if it has, it didn't leave a mark. In looking through the attic, the wood looks to be in good condition, framing in good condition, insulation and AC ductwork that's up in the attic looked good as well. All right, moving on to plumbing. I don't really have any major plumbing repairs. I do have a couple of minor ones though, and I'll itemize those in your home inspection report. Overall, the plumbing checks out well. It's PVC main water supply line, CPVC distribution, and PVC wastewater line. You're on a public sewer system, and your plumbing system is very easy to follow. Everything comes in on the east side of the house, and it's in good condition under the sinks, at the toilets, and everywhere I had access. On the electrical system, I didn't have any real electrical concerns. I only had one, and I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. But you have two main panels outside. Each one is 150 amps. Each one of those main breakers go to a garage panel, also rated for 150 amps. The wiring looks good and the installation looks good. Everything looks as it should be. The one thing I did find is that I want you to pay attention to is I want to have an electrician check out what's going on with the dryer 220 plug, because when I open that panel, I've only got one wire going to a 2-pole breaker, which would indicate that you're only getting 110. But when I check it at the dryer plug, I've got 220. I looked at it from a generalist perspective, and I can't see how they accomplished that. So I think it's important to have an electrician look at that electrical. I think they altered the electrical. They had gas previously installed for the dryer. It must have been a propane tank installed before, because there's a gas line there that's not being used now. I'm sure that that has something to do with the conversion of electricity, but we just want to make sure it was done correctly, and we don't want anything hidden not to be seen. So we're going to recommend further evaluation for that. Air conditioning system, the downstairs system is original. It's Lennox. It's performing well. It's in decent condition. No concerns. The upstairs unit has been altered from original. The air handler unit was replaced in 2014. Now, we did a public record search and we couldn't find any record of this with the city of Ocoee. A permit's required when you replace air conditioning equipment, mainly because you've got to prove that the components are compatible. So we would want to get, at least at a minimum, the air conditioning contractor's information so you can get the paperwork showing you that the two systems that are installed are compatible. Because right now, as a generalist, I would call this a mismatched system. There's two different brands. The original brand is Lennox, the replacement brand is Carrier. It may or may not be of a significant importance, but knowing that it's something most air conditioning guys will pair up the same brands for that reason, because they are compatible. So we want to make sure that that's going on. As far as performance, the unit performed just fine. Didn't have any real issues with the air conditioning systems. I do have a maintenance issue at the upstairs unit. There's a condensation leak up there. I'm going to itemize that in your report and recommend you get that taken care of quickly, only because we don't want any water damage to occur. All right, those are the highlights of the inspection. I think overall the house is in good condition. I think it's time for a little bit of maintenance and due diligence, but there's no big red flags here. And when you look over the inspection report, I'm going to create a nice document to be able to teach you what everything is here, and then at the end there'll be a punch list for you to be able to follow for the minor repairs that we found. If you have any questions, you can call me directly, 321-228-3848. Thank you so much for your business, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Have a good day.